guys, it's Dr. Taffy Hawkins here, your mental performance coach from DaringPerformance.com. And I thought it might be fun to just have a little chit chat with you and kind of walk through my process, not only for like a weekly reset, but a monthly reset as well. So the first thing that I do is I tend to get all my materials right together. I have 2 planners, but this is my primary one. I also have something on my phone just to kind of keep everything the same. I'm going to insert a shot of my giant calendar that I have that's like taking up about 5 feet of the wall in front of me. And so I can see the big picture of everything for the year there. But this is for like my smaller things. So the first thing that I kind of do is I look back over. That's what my calendar looks like. Lots of colors. I tend to color code things so that they are kind of, I can at a glance say, is there something that I'm missing? And one of the things that I have done that's always been a lot of fun is to assign a color for fun things. So in my bag, I work remotely, so I may, be working here or there or whatever. I carry a bag, highlighters, and I will use the hot pink. The hot pink is fun, so if I look at my calendar and there is not enough hot pink, then we know we've got a problem. So one of the things, if you look, I pinked it up in July. So we had Forensics Club is something that I started doing kind of toward the end of last school year, and that was a lot of fun. I went and saw Young Washington. We went to like a conference. My husband and I went to a conference. We've done a lot of themed dinners. So one of them was like, we did the Five Nights at Freddy's themed dinner, and that was a lot of fun. My son and I went to the movies. We saw the new Minions movie. I've seen, just the other day, we saw Moana. So, I've been to the movies several times. And then in 1 week, I went to 4 shows. 4 plays, totally different plays in 1 week. It was insane. So I saw Beetlejuice Jr. And then my friend and I went to like a theatrical reading of Midsummer Night's Dream. And then later in the week, we saw Annie, and that was incredible. It's a local group. There were kids, and it was just really incredible. And then we saw Little Women at Dock Street Theater. So we're talking a lot of theater in a short amount of time, and it was just so fun. We also did a themed movie night for Jumanji. I love Jumanji. I don't know if you've seen it, but I think we watched the first one, like with The Rock and Jack Black, and it was just amazing. We really like those kind of movies, so that was a lot of fun. Then we had some meetings and different things. I had classes that were starting because I teach remotely for a college, for Grand Canyon University, so I have classes that are ending and classes that are starting, and we don't really get like a summer break, but that was kind of the way that we spaced things out, so I had a little bit of time. But we have hobbied so hard. I even took a watercolor class. Like, we have done so much in a short amount of time that we just really squeezed the life out of July. You know what I mean? So I want to take that same vigor, although we're going to have a little bit less free time, take that same vigor as we move into August. So the first thing, I look at my calendar and I'm like, okay, what has to be done? What has to be included in this thing? Doctor's appointments. We have a couple like business type things that my husband and I are going to. So we have those. Bible studies start back up on Wednesday. And then we also make sure to heavily sprinkle in the super fun stuff. The book clubs, auditioning for plays, all that kind of thing. So it's all going to be included, and it's right here in our reset, and I hope you grab your stuff. So now that we're finished with that portion, I want to go into like just a reflection, just a super quick reflection on July, and kind of, we looked at the way that things were. I told you, these are the plays that we went to, and these are the activities, and these are the ways that I was pouring into personal development, that sort of thing. And it's very important for us to kind of get those laid out. And I do most of this stuff, by the way, just on notebook paper. So if you look, this was just from April. But if you look at the way that I do things, this is very low-tech stuff. You have access to everything to get you started right now. And so we tend to write down the core memories. What are some of the core memories that we made in the month of July? One of the things that I can remember, we are really into theater. So that many plays, that is a huge win for us. Also, my husband was working out of town, so when he came home and trying to just appreciate him, because he was gone for 20 days. 20 days is not a long time, but 20 days out of summer, if you were to look at my big calendar, and it's like marked out, this is summer, and then there are these lines of when he's gone. You're like, wow, okay, you were gone a lot of summer, man. So kind of making up for lost time. That's what we did when he came home, with some of those activities. Sticking with like forensics club. I know that sounds weird. It is so fun to really delve into these topics with people that have more of like an investigative mind, and you're kind of interested in it too. The process of the discoveries and how they did the detective work. It's kind of cool if you're into it. Also, what else did we do? And you can go back. That's the reason that I write everything in my calendar, because when you go back and look, you may think, oh, I didn't really do anything for summer. And that's, my daughter was really struggling with that idea that summer has passed and we haven't done anything, because we didn't take a big trip. We took our trip the last day of school, honestly. She was sick the last day of school. We left that night, went to Great Wolf, and stayed a few days, and that is really how we spent our thing, because we have these big goals. And let's talk about that for a second. When you have great big goals, okay, like the Italy trip, like Matt turning 21, and we're going to go and spend time with his best friend that lives in another state. That's the girls trip that I take my mom on every year. You know, when you have big goals that also cost money, you know, then you kind of scale down the other stuff. But if you were to look, we did not skimp on summer. We're going to the beach. She's on a cruise right now, by the way. My daughter's on a cruise with my mom. So when she gets home, we're going to the beach. That's going to be our last day of summer. That's exactly how we want to spend it. But if you look at my calendar, okay, then this is going to show you all that pink. That's all fun stuff, all the way over here. We spent 4th of July shooting off a ton of fireworks with our friends. We've been to movies, we've done activities, we've, been to a ton of plays. We went to Savannah for my mom's birthday. We went to the water park. I forgot the water park on here. We've done themed dinners for fun movies, and we've just really, really worked hard to prioritize the fun of summer, and it has paid off. I don't really regret not traveling a lot this summer, because it's turned out so great for us. We live in an awesome place, and there's so much to do. Literally, I would have 10 things that I could be doing right now, today, for less than $30 that I could go and do. And so it's just deciding, it's not if you're going to do something, it's which one of the things, the million things, are you going to do? So libraries are a great place to look. Our local park is where I found the watercolor class, and I think it cost me $10. These are not huge expensive things, but it really enriches your life, and it certainly fills out your calendar in a way that's a lot of fun. So if we move over here and start writing our stuff down, core memories, there's a ton of those things. I mean, we did not skip on July, and I was kind of bummed out that school's starting soon, but honestly, we didn't skip, not one bit. Okay, so what were some wins? I always like to do wins. If you don't know, I work in sports psychology. That's what I teach. That's what I love. And personal development's been a huge part of my life way before that. But it's just, we need to note the wins, because the losses, you're going to remember those. So, what were some wins that we had? And I think things like going to, we have a book club of a group of girls that I work with at work, and that's a lot of fun. I think that was a win. We've cleared space. We're putting in an above ground pool, and it's a lot of work. So the progress that we made to prep for that pool is a huge win for me. And then we have been working on decluttering forever. Like, if you know, you know. It's really a daunting task. Okay? But right now, we're cleaning out our garage so that our home gym can be set up in a way that's a little bit more productive. Also, if you live in a place like we do that's super hot, we bought 2 big industrial fans so that we can use those in the warmer months when you may not be super excited to use a home gym outside. So I'm really proud of that. Also, my writing, it's funny. You ever, like, I read a lot of people's work, but if my own writing makes me laugh, I think that that's kind of a win. I don't care if nobody else gets it, and I hope that they will, but that's pretty cool. Like, I consider myself pretty funny. So, also, we can't talk about wins and things that we want to improve if we do not look at, like, our overall satisfaction on things. So the way that I do satisfaction is just pretty easy. It's out of 5. You can do it out of 10. That's like if we do a wheel of life. You've seen the little wheel and it looks like a pie. If we do the wheel of life, it'll be like out of 10. But we're going to do out of 5 today. So for work, actually with the college, I had a few days off. Like almost, well, it's like 12 days. I had 12 days off. And I was like, wow, this feels insane. It never happens that way. So I was able to work on some other projects, some things that I have coming down through my own business in the fall, and that was awesome. And I'm going to give myself like a 4 out of 5. I probably could have done a little bit more, but look, I did pretty good. For personal is like friends, your family, you know, all the kind of things. What kind of personal life how do you feel in your personal life? And I think that's probably a 4 out of 5 too. For my wellness, I'm giving a lot of 4 out of 5s. Like, it could have been better, but honestly, I'm proud. I am proud of that girl. She is doing the thing, and it's going good. For social, I've been pretty social here lately, and loving that for me. So that one is probably going to be a 5 out of 5. I think I'm as social as I want to be. You know, how like you could go out and do things every night. You could see friends all the time. But sometimes you need that recharge moment, and that's kind of where I'm at. So, give myself a 5 out of 5. And then for finances, I'm going to give myself a 3 out of 5. I fell short of a couple of goals that I had that were pretty important to me, but it's because other things came up. So I can't knock that too much. Like, I think that I made the responsible choice in that moment. And as a matter of fact, yesterday we were supposed to be in Atlanta for a ball game. And I already bought the tickets, but I had not paid for anything else. Like, it's just the ball game tickets. And when I looked at the goals that we have for this month, it just didn't make sense to pay hundreds and hundreds more dollars for a trip when the juice didn't feel like it'd be worth the squeeze. Now, if they were playing our team, totally different, but they weren't. So we just had to kind of eat the cost of those tickets. And luckily, I didn't pay that much for them. For hobbies, I'm doing a 5 out of 5. I am doing some things, even some kind of things that I didn't expect to be doing. So, yay for me. And I want to continue that as we go into the fall. I know that it's going to get busy. Hopefully, I don't know if you're a football coach, but hopefully you and I will be collaborating a little bit, and I will be sitting in the stands and checking out your teams as we move through the fall. It's one of my favorite things to do. Like, we start out, it's super hot. We end, it's super cold. You know, but I love it. And I've always really cherished kind of those Friday night lights. So, if you're a football coach or parent, hit me up. Okay, I want to talk about goals because I think goals are really important. And they need to be things that, like, you can measure. So I've got a lot of numbers on here. And it's got to be something that's specific, that's measurable, that you can attain, that's realistic for what you want, and that's bound to a period of time. So since we're doing this for a month, then we already have our time down. They're all looking pretty specific, and I make sure to have some kind of number, something that's pretty pretty easy to track when we look at it. So for my goals, just super quick, read 6 books. It's probably going to be more than that. Try 2 new recipes. I want one of those to be a bread recipe because I'm trying my hand at making bread. 5 of those recipes to put in the freezer, whether it's like one of the frozen freezer meals or like just a crock pot meal, something that's easy because it's going to get busy. Complete 95% of the book that I'm writing. Try 1 song on piano. I'm a baby beginner, okay? Go to our finance seminar. I am 5 days away from finishing my 365 days straight, that's 1 year, of Duolingo. So I'm super excited about that. I want to have a playlist for August. I think that's really important. For my social media posts, I tend to post once or twice a day. So I'm shooting for like 60 posts. 1 blog post a week on my website. So that is 4, lift 5 times a week. I want to declutter my dresser, my daughter's dresser, and my closet. I want to contribute $500 toward the Italy trip. More if I can do it, but $500 sounds good. The House on Mango Street is the book that is in Spanish that I am translating. It was kind of a practice that we did in high school in French. So I'm new to Spanish. And it's going pretty well. So I like that. 10 more pages. And then finish my summer bucket list. So we have a summer bucket list. I'll insert that somewhere up here. And it is like just the overview of everything we wanted to do before summer was over. I still consider August to be summer. It definitely feels like summer here. So I still consider it to be summer. And that is something that is going to be kind of important as we move forward. So if you're taking a look at like what you've done, these are the wins. These are the things that we can work on. This is my life satisfaction. I've written out my goals. And then some of those things that I have really enjoyed. I have not watched a lot of TV this month, but I've been to the movies a lot. So Young Washington, absolutely stellar. I would watch it 10 more times. Like the acting is great. Even if you're not a history person, it's a really, really cool movie. And I want to encourage you to watch that. And this is like if you even are the least bit interested, if you're a Hamilton fan, you've got to watch Young Washington. He was a kid. You got to see when he was a kid, when he was like that teenager and coming up, and how he became, the founding father that we know. And then some of the books that I really liked, I really read some diverse books. I'm going to be honest with you. And right now I'm reading a book called Dead Wednesday. I'm finishing it up, and it's part of my research for the book that I'm reading, or that I'm writing, but it is for that age group. And it's super weird. I'm not even going to tell you the premise of it. Just look it up. It's called Dead Wednesday. It's kind of different. And then I have written out all my goals for the next month, made sure that they are smart, and it's something that I can look at it and say, if I want to read 6 books, then first have to attain the books in some way. And then this is what I'm going to read, and I'm going to set aside time to do that. And this is kind of how you reset your month. Okay, guys, we're almost finished. I like to plan my week on Sundays. I know that it's Saturday, but we have some projects that we're working on tomorrow, and that is going to require some time. So I'm going to go ahead and do my planning today while I'm already sitting at my desk and have things kind of on my mind. The first thing is, and you'll see that I have that portion of the video written out, but I do all this just on notebook paper. It is a glimpse at a planner that I'm working on, hopefully to release by the end of the year. But the first thing I do, the first column, I just write it out. Work, Monday through Sunday. I'll have a column for work, life, business, and then I even put my menu on there, and I just jot it in. I know that I have certain obligations for the college on certain days of the week. I go ahead and write those in. If I am working an event or a wedding at the park, I put that on there, and all that goes under work. And then for life, things like I mentioned that seminar that we're going to later this week. Also, we're going to the beach, so I put the fun things on there too. And then on Sunday, I actually have my book club, so writing that in there as well. And then all of my business tasks, they tend to follow a theme. So I'll have like administrative things on Monday. I write on certain days of the week. Wednesday is an education day. Friday is a filming day. Thursday blog post release, all those kind of things. It's kind of a well-oiled machine. So I just jot those things in there and I can do it really quickly. And then for menu, I like to see it written out this way. And so I can just go in there and say, okay, look in the cabinet. These are the things that we need. If I need to make a grocery order, if I don't have time to go for myself, then I'll go ahead and put all those things down. And I know the meals that we want to have. Sometimes it helps, especially as we're coming into the school year, if each day has a theme. Kind of like Taco Tuesdays is a theme. We will have a theme for like this day's sandwiches, Friday is homemade pizzas, whatever. And assign it a theme, and then you just, if you always have Italian food on Thursdays, then you just find your Italian dish that you know that you want to make and have that ready. And for me, I know that it's going to get busy, which is why one of my big goals was to find those recipes that we really love for crock pot meals or something easy that I can freeze and then just pull out and put on. I always set an intention for the week. I think that that's really important. And right now, I'm revamping my website. I'm building out another website. And then I have a couple of administrative things for my business for the intention. But the real big one is we want to have an awesome end of summer, like our last summer day, and a great kickoff to the school year. Very important. Our big events are going to be the things that we attend. Money matters. I always write down when we're getting paid because we have multiple streams of income, so it's coming from all over the place, and it's good to see what dates those are going to be, and we put those down there. Whatever books I'm reading, fiction and nonfiction. The things that we need to buy or pay. So if we have something that's kind of a weird bill that we need to pay, or something that we need to buy that we don't typically buy, I'll put that in there. And then I have things that I write and create, things that I want to learn. That's all on the list. And then our house chores, like I said, we are working diligently on getting that space ready for the pool. So top priority, it's very hot. We have the stuff already. We just need to get it done. And so that is my great big house chore. And then what am I proud of? I'm proud of the effort I put into summer. This was not our typical summer. We would have normally traveled quite a bit. And I'm proud of the things we did around home. And Charleston's a great city, and to just do things here is really awesome. So I hope that this is helpful for you. I know that this is a lot kind of flying at you at once for our monthly reset, but I hope that you're kind of on board. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. I'd love for you to like and subscribe and share this with people that it may really help to get you organized and ready for our upcoming school year. Okay, I'm Dr. Taffy Hawkins. That's what I've got for you today.